Multiples, factors and prime numbers. This is just an introduction to what's involved. Firstly, multiples. Children often get factors and multiples mixed up. With multiples, the clue is in the word. So really, you're just thinking of your multiplication tables. So if you can take a number and multiply it by something else, your answer will be a multiple of that number. For example, you could be asked to find the first 4 multiples of 3. And that simply means if we have one lot of 3, 3 times 1, we've just got 3 of something. So 3 is our first multiple of 3. If we multiply that by 2, we have 6. So 6 is another multiple of 3. And if we times that by 3 and times it by 4, we can see that the first 4 multiples of 3 are 3, 6, 9 and 12. Sometimes you could be asked to find multiples of a much bigger number. Particularly if it's more than 12, you might struggle a bit because we tend to learn our multiplication tables up to 12 times 12. So if, for example, you were asked to find the first 4 multiples of 27, you would just need to count in steps of 27 4 times to find the first 4 numbers that are multiples of 27. Factors really are just the opposite of multiples. We can think of multiplication and division with factors, as well as thinking which numbers can be multiplied to make something else. You can also think, well, the number that I'm finding factors of, what can I divide it by exactly to get whole numbers? Just to give you a demonstration of this, what are the factors of 12? I always try to be systematic when I'm doing factors so that I don't miss any out. So I'm going to start with 1. And we can see that we have 1 times 12. So my first 2 factors of 12 are 1 and 12. I've dealt with 1, now I'm going to go with 2. I know that 2 will be a factor because 12 is an even number. And if we divide that by 2, we can see that we have 2 lots of 6. So 2 and 6 are also factors of 12. My next number is 3, and I also know that 3 is a factor of 12, and I can see that in those blocks. I can see that there are 3 rows of 4. So 3 times by 4, 3 and 4 are also factors of 12. I've dealt with 1, 2 and 3. My next number is 4, which is already there, so I know that I've got all the factors of 12. I can stop there. So the factors of 12 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 12. Prime numbers, there's a little bit more involved in this. A prime number is a number that has only 2 factors, 1 and itself. So it won't appear in any other numbers times tables other than 1 and its own, and it can't be divided by anything other than itself and 1. So just to give you some examples of this, we're going to find the prime numbers up to 10. So here we have all the numbers from 1 to 10. Just to make things a little bit more interesting, the very first number we come up to is 1. And you need to remember that that is not a prime number. 1 has only one factor, which is 1. Also, as your child starts learning about square numbers and cube numbers, they will know that 1 is a square number and a cube number. So it's not prime. We can cross that out. 2, that is a prime number. And the interesting thing about 2 is that it's the only even number that is prime. Every other even number you come across is not prime. We can cross out all those even numbers. Suddenly we only have a few numbers left to work with. 3, if you think about 3, you can only divide it by 3 and 1. It doesn't appear in any other times tables other than 1 or 3. So 3 is a prime number. Exactly the same with 5. 7 we can only divide by 1 and 7. Some pupils will get this far and think, oh, all the odd numbers must be prime, and 9 often catches them out. 9, as well as having factors of 1 and 9, also has a factor of 3 because 3 times 3 is 9. So 9 is not a prime number. Up to 10, there are only 4 numbers that are prime. In Year 5, the expectation is to be able to recall the prime numbers up to 20. So we're going to do that here. First, remember, we can get rid of all those even numbers. We're now dealing with far fewer numbers. 11, that's a prime number. It doesn't appear in any other times tables other than 1 and 11. 13 is exactly the same. 15, however, as well as having factors of 1 and 15, also has factors of 3 and 5 because 3 times 5 is 15. So we can cross that one out. 17, however, and 19, they are both prime numbers. So the prime numbers up to 20 that Year 5 children are expected to recall, there's just 8 of them, which isn't quite as daunting as it first looks.